the Dave K Show. I am David K. Gyro, your host, and it was such a pleasure to have you with us tonight. We're broadcasting off the beautiful banks of Foss River in beautiful New Roads, Louisiana, the beautiful parish of Point Capee, the state of Louisiana, and around the world, of course, on YouTube and the World Wide Web. And if you just joined us in our previous episode, or should I say our previous segment, we had Dr. Rochelle coming in talking about diabetes and the complications of diabetes. So you definitely want to go back on the YouTube channel and click on Dr. Rochelle. And diabetes is a silent killer, and a lot of people don't even know they have diabetes, so they have to start having some serious signs and symptoms. So I really would urge you to go and check out Dr. Rochelle's segment on YouTube video. Okay, without further ado, let's go back to our next guest here, and you're going to learn a lot more tonight with Miss Susan Tomlin, who's our guest tonight. How you doing, Susan?
Just fine.
All right, Susan Tomlin, she does all kinds of stuff. She has a pretty long resume. We're going to try to shorten it down a little bit here for our listeners. But pretty much Susan works at the Jumonville Votech School and also at the Riverside Daycare Center with Stephanie Jumonville. We had her on our show a while back. And she's also a tutor at home, and she's involved in a whole lot of other things. And, Susan, she also gets kids prepared for the workforce in the real world. And if you got kids, I tell you what, sooner or later they're going to grow up and they're going to get in that workforce out there, and they're going to start working, and they're going to need some skills, and they're going to need some information to be armed with to deal with this world out here, right?
That's right.
All right, Susan. Well, it was such a pleasure to have you on the show tonight. And what I want to first start talking about is what do you do at the Jumonville Votech School right now?
I teach developmental reading and English and math.
Okay. All right.
I work with adults. I have a preference for working with adults, and
Okay.
I think the adults get left behind sometimes. If you don't cut mustard by the time you're 18, you
Right.
don't have as many supports. So
Right.
we have a wonderful program there. We use a Plato web learning program.
Okay.
It's just excellent. It's a match to all the national and state standards of education, and it's very
Right.
productive.
Very, very good. Okay. In addition to that, you're also working with Stephanie Jumonville over at the Riverside Daycare Center, and what's a few things that you do over there also?
I do tutoring there, small group and individual tutoring, and that is a great service for New Roads.
Right.
I can tell you, we need something like that.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful facility. When parents bring their children there, when they pick them up, the kids, all their homework is done. They can play outside. They have computers. Everyone there helps them. It's a very good facility.
Right, that's very, very good. So hopefully more and more people are going to be coming in, dropping their kids off, and you'll be able to work with some more kids. So like I said, Stephanie's got a very good thing going out there at the Riverside Daycare Center. And if you haven't checked it out, just check our YouTube channel, and also this video will have some information on the bottom of the screen right here. You and I had talked on the phone a while back, and we probably talked for an hour on the phone, and you have so much information in your head right now that I want to try to get a little bit of it out, and I want to discuss a few things with you tonight. The big thing right now in Point Capee Parish is the school system. Everybody's talking about the public school system. I don't hear too many people talking about the private school system, but a whole lot of people are talking about the public school system. And then we have a lot of problems, really in both of them, but it seems the public school system is magnified in their problems. I guess basically what we can talk about right now is, getting these kids out into the workforce and everything. And let's go ahead and talk about your first topic that you want to talk about tonight on that.
Okay. Well, I just want to follow up on that. The public school system is a reflection of the community it's in. The community and the school are one. There's no separation. The school does not have any different norms or population than the community.
Right.
So the problems that you're seeing in the public school system are just, areas of improvement for the community.
Right.
And what I wanted to talk about tonight, what we had talked about before, were employability skills.
Okay.
And what that is, well, let me back up just a little bit.
Okay.
What is not addressed as far as employment skills in a public school setting, say the person graduates from high school and they get a job, and they can't hold a job, or their attitude is bad. That is so prevalent across the nation that there's a place for that. It's called the Workforce Development Center.
Okay.
And that's a combination, or collaboration actually, between educators and business leaders. And it's not only in this area, but across the nation. Businesses are finding that high school graduates or even college graduates are not prepared for the world of work in an area called soft skills.
Okay, even college graduates, right?
Absolutely. And what that means is you can hire someone who has a degree, but they have no work ethic. And it's been studied, it's been scrutinized, there's a lot of research out on that. And what happens is somewhere we're missing that attitude of working is a duty and you work well when no one's looking. It's that
Right.
attitude of I owe my employer a good, a solid day of work.
Right.
And,
You don't get that too often nowadays, do
No,
you?
you don't. And I don't think you can blame that on anyone. But if it is not learned in socialization at home, or by neighborhoods, then the school does need to teach it, and they also need to model it.
Right.
And so students need to see that an example of a good working environment from the time that they enter school, because that is another working environment.
Right.
And that's where we have an opening there, to
Okay.
model a good working environment.
Right.
And-
Is this being taught formally anywhere now, or?
It may be taught at the Jumaville Center at some other point in time,
Okay.
but it's really a culture. It's a culture of work, is what it is.
Right.
And when you get hired for a job and you walk in your first day, you're a new hire, and you get a kind of a sense of the place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very telling, because once you're hired and you're in the place, you're going to start conforming to the norm. So if the work culture is productive and high energy
Mm-hmm.
and all that, then you will more than likely adjust to that environment.
Right.
And you can cut me off whenever you
No, go
want
ahead.
to.
No, keep on going. That's good.
But again, the research is overwhelming on this. That there's, just to use descriptive words, there's hard skills and soft skills.
Okay.
Hard skills are the academic skills, math, technology, correct grammar, that kind of thing.
Right.
Soft skills are the interpersonal skills, and they're also the work ethic. And you really think about someone's employability with, do they have a master's degree, how well did they do on their ACT or their LSAT or whatever. But whoever you hire, if they cannot get along with other people and communicate, your company will not succeed, they will not succeed, and the organization productivity is reduced.
Right.
Right? So now,
And, not to cut you off, but everybody wants a paycheck. They want to get paid well for what they do, but a lot of people don't want to put in the effort and the work to, translate to a better business.
well, that's a good point, because in our work history in America, not to bore you with history, but in the industrial age, management made all the decisions, and the workers, every work task was analyzed, and the worker had little tiny parts of that, but they never had that pride of creating something. They had no autonomy.
Right.
Okay. Then somewhere around the 1980s, it changed, and we turned into an information age workplace. Communication became, mandatory. You were communicating electronically, verbally, and you needed to transmit a smile with your communication.
Right.
Somehow you needed to do that, and that's where we began to lose ground. They've really discovered that what we used to call customer service, and now I'm going to call it soft skills or employability skills. You must maintain that environment not only for your customers but also within your workplace.
Very good. Very good.
And then there's lots of stuff out here on the internet that you can read about this, and it's I'm going to read just a few
Sure.
one quote that someone said.
Sure.
Is, if you hire the mind, can you train the personality? It's
I got to think about that for a
But if
second.
you think
Yeah.
about it, there's nothing that we're going to talk about here that you hadn't thought before. I mean, how many?
Right.
I know that I've thought before. Well, so and so has 5 or 6 great degrees, but who can work with them?
Right. Tell me.
Or
Yeah.
you're a new hire at a place, and your boss says, "Well, if you have any questions, go ask Sheila." And you're thinking, "Well, over my dead body," because
Right.
when you open the door, she glares at you, or
Right.
so.
Right. I know exactly where you're coming from on that one. Definitely. Well, we can go take a video camera and go to any one of the fast food restaurants here in New Roads, and we can have a little example of what you're talking about.
Yes, we
and,
can.
And I think it's like I said earlier, going back to the schooling or whatever. I think it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe a 3-pronged approach, because what you get out of a student, the student as a whole when they come out or whatever. It's what they get at home, what they get taught at home, and then the schooling, and then part of it's the student themselves. What do I want to do with myself? Do I want to make myself something, or have that work ethic that you're talking about? So the student, the teachers, and the family at home, I think.
And the management. So it would be the family or the authoritarian figure, the school, the leaders, and the
Right.
management.
And it seems to me like sometimes, where there's a void or a gap, somebody has to fill that gap.
Someone has to fill that
Might even be
gap.
the sheriff's office filling a gap when they get in trouble.
Yes, it might be, but I think I think these are things that people really know. They just don't realize how important it is. I think managers of large corporations are really tuned into this.
Mm-hmm.
They have words for it here. It's called the electronic smile.
The electronic smile,
Yeah.
okay.
And there are six factors there, okay? One of
Okay.
them is the work ethic, and it's a motivating belief that you owe your employer a full day of work. That doesn't mean you just show up and hang out for 8 hours.
Right.
When I read these to you, you'll hear motivating. It's not a question of trying to train someone to be obedient, or to be afraid to not conform. The whole idea is to have an employee buy into the culture
Right.
of work
Right.
because they choose it.
Exactly. I'll expound upon that too. I go to, let's say McDonald's. Everybody's been at McDonald's or whatever. You usually have to start off at the very bottom. A lot of people are there just temporarily. They're students working there part-time. They don't want to make a career out of it. But I think the attitude even that a part-time student has is, you know what? I'm going to come to McDonald's or wherever you might be at, and I'm going to act like one day I'm going to own this company. I'm going to start off at the ground up. I'm going to do one step above everything I should do, do things that I shouldn't even be expected to do. I'm going to go ahead and do above and beyond what I need to do or whatever. And then I'm going to make my manager proud. I'm going to, like I said, do a good hard days or hard nights work. And then and just act like you want to own the company one day. And then you'll make it better for everybody, really. And I think other people will see you and be, impressed by what you're doing. And maybe it might be, it might catch on or whatever. It might be contagious or whatever.
It needs to be nurtured by
Right.
your management, and it needs to be rewarded. Another simple thing is courtesy, and that's the habit of saying yes, please, no, thank you, may I help you?
Oh, yeah.
Not
we need more
only
of
to
that.
customers, but to coworkers. And I just
Right.
want to say a quick thing on that. I have to applaud the Point Coupee Parish Library in New Roads.
Okay.
I love that place.
Right.
I go there a lot. I don't have a computer at home. When I walk in the door, Miss T, one of the staff there,
Uh-huh.
immediately sees that I'm there. She looks over to see if a computer is ready. By the time I get to the desk, she's turned the tablet over. She has the pen in her hand, handing for me to
Wow.
sign. And when I leave, she says, "Hello, Miss Susan." When I leave, she says goodbye. And,
Right. That's great.
they're just the whole staff there. They're courteous to each other. It's just it's a pleasant environment.
Right. Wow, that's great. Okay, well, on that word, we're up for a break right now already. Time has just flown by. And we're going to be back on the other side of the break, and we're going to talk some more about soft skills, preparing you for the workplace. We'll be back after these messages.